we are. Oops, there's the mic. Here we are. Ho, ho, ho. It's nearly Christmas. Well, another week and a little bit. So happy to see you here. Cheers. I love that coffee. So yes, here we are. Welcome to another live stream from Elvis the Ultimate Fan Channel. And yes, it's getting there, isn't it? Another week and a bit before the big man arrives. When I say the big man, I don't mean me. Even though I am getting a little bit bigger. So it's nice to see everybody here. Yes, Mrs. EAP says Studio B. I'm outside Studio B. They wouldn't let me inside tonight or this afternoon or wherever it is with you. Actually, I should say good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night, wherever you're watching from. Whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching it on playback, you are very, very welcome. And what can I say? I appreciate every single person that watches my videos, likes these videos, shares these videos. But I always say, it's not for me, it's for Elvis. So every like, every share, every view is for Elvis. So do what's right and give it the old thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. So where are we? We are looking at underrated Elvis songs, a live poll, which will tie in again with the topic, a song I wish Elvis had recorded, Photoshop of the week, caption this photo. Getting the screams in early tonight. Actually, it's not caption this photo that gives you that. It's smoking hot photo that gives you. Although some people do scream at the caption this photo. This day in Elvis history. It's a good one this week. The topic, of course. And winner of Fan of the Month for November. Oh, yes. Yes. If did I see this person's name in the chat? I'm not sure. But all will be revealed at the end of the show. Of course, you can call me free on Discord. You can get in the queue now by clicking the call-in button underneath where it says voice channels. And the sooner you get in there, the sooner I will I think I do it the right way. The first person is at the top and then the second person. So I'll go from the top down, I think. That's the best way to do it. Because the topic is your favorite Elvis cowboy. Alrighty? Which is your favorite cowboy role that Elvis played? And I don't want you to just ring in and say what it is. I want you to tell me why it's your favorite role as well. So all that's coming up, and the usual bit of fun as well thrown in. And we have a quiz. And as I probably told you on the trailer that appeared on YouTube and Discord, that it is going to be name the Elvis movie song. And it's very, very simple. I show you a picture, a screen grab, and you've got to tell me what song Elvis is singing at that particular moment in the movie. And of course, there will be a prize at the end of December, just like every other month. The winners, not the winners, the people who get a correct answer throughout the year, you don't even have to be a monthly winner. Your name goes into a pot and you become Elvis Fan of the Year. And as we know, Lou Dane won the Elvis in Concert jacket. I don't think I've got that picture anymore. Maybe I haven't, but you know the one anyway. It's the red jacket that they used to wear in the 70s. Elvis on tour, Elvis in Concert. Helen Murray's getting in early with her vote, but you will be able to vote on the poll as well. So just hold off there. Name the movie. What have been easier? I think you mean what could have been easier. Well, who knows? Who knows? Let's have a look. Question 1. What song is Elvis singing here? I'll start you with an easy one. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, somebody says Bossa Nova Baby. Okay. Somebody was in there very quick. There's a few Bossa Nova Babies. Actually, yeah, I can see now why people are saying Bossa Nova Baby, because the kind of the setup and the suit and everything is very, very similar. But look what's in his hands. It's Rock-a-Hula Baby. And I have Chris saying Duncan, and I have Dave saying Dylan. So I'm going to go back up and I'm going to have a look to see what was on my screen. Okay, Banjo Paul says Bossa Nova. Norses says Bossa Nova. Dylan says Rock-a-Hula Baby. Then Timothy, and then Duncan. So I actually think it is Dylan. Yeah, and Chris is saying it is Dylan. There is a new, there's a couple of new jingles I've got in the pot ready to use, but I haven't uploaded them yet, thanks to Kirsty. Kirsty sent me a couple of new ones, suggestions. So we're still using this one for now.
It's been a long time, Jack, I'm telling you.
It's been a long time, Jack. Oh, my pen's run out. Would you believe that? Okay. Pen number 2. So, Dylan is the first on the board. Well done. Well done, Dylan. Right. What is Elvis singing here? He doesn't look too happy. He looks a little cross. So, let's have a look. Only 7 thumbs up, but 117 watching. I can't believe that. Come on. For Elvis. Do it for Elvis. Oh, wow. Loads of people going in there. Frankfurt special. Okay. I'll accept Frankfurt or Frankfurt because I've seen it spelt both ways. So who was the first person to say, was it that young Dylan again? My goodness me. Dylan. Is Dylan going to go for the 6 out of 6, I wonder?
It's been a long time, Jack, I'm telling you.
Well done, Dylan. Yeah, he looks a little cross, doesn't he? The giveaway there is the uniform, of course, and the red dress of the girl behind him through the window of the carriage of the train. So, yeah, there you are. That's... Martha says, hello, Steve. Thank you for the great shows you do in all respect for our beloved Elvis Presley. Well, it's like this, Martha. It's all for you and it's all for Elvis because Elvis means so much to me. And, it's the least I could do to pay him back to try and keep him out there and have some fun with other fans and get fans together as well. In fact, I did hear that there is 2 fans meeting up in America next year, I believe. So that's great. Really great. If fans can find each other through this channel, then great. I'm really happy. I really am. So yeah, it's all for Elvis and you watching through that camera. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee as payment, or not so much payment, or as appreciation, thank you very much. And to those people that actually did buy me coffee this week, thank you very much. Very kind. Right, here we go. That was Frankfurt Special. This one might catch people out. It's not as well known as Frankfurt Special. It's this one. What is Elvis singing here to this little girl? Yes, I saw Nicola Crippa come on to Discord. Very, very good. City by Night. No, it's not City by Night. Your time hasn't come yet, baby. Hard. It's not hard for Jack and it's not hard for Jonathan. Okay. Yes, it is I Love Only One Girl. One I got my arms around. And it was Jack. But it did trip a few people up. In fact, Duncan thought it was Your Time Hasn't Come Yet, Baby. And again, I can see, yes. But no. Okay. Here we go. Jack. And this is very appropriate.
It's been a long time, Jack, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Every time Jack gets one right, that becomes very appropriate. Very appropriate. Don't forget, you can get into the Discord call-in queue now. All right. It doesn't, it doesn't ring or it doesn't call anybody. You just get into the queue. It doesn't become live until I click on you and say hi and then your name. So if you want to get into the queue now, you can, to call about the topic. Or maybe you want to listen to the topic first. That's okay. Right. 3 down, 3 to go. I thought that would trip more people up, to be honest. But there you go. What is Elvis singing here? Number 4. Maybe this will catch more people out. Okay. Dylan says, can we have another easy one, please? Stop, Look and Listen, Spin Out, City by Night, I'll Be Back. I know it, but the song's not coming. One person looks like they have got it, actually. But I have actually stumped a lot of you. There's a lot of different answers coming in. And I agree. It was young Brent. Congratulations, Brent, because you said Adam and Evil, and that is what he is singing there. I know the movie, but not the song. And Deb says, nary a clue. Yeah, so well done, Brent, because that did trip quite a few people up.
For a long time, Jack, I'm telling you.
Yep, it has been a long time. I imagine I will see a whole flood of answers for the next one, because this is very, very well-known sequence in his films, movies. Young Brent for the win. Right, here we go. Yeah, easy peasy, this one. Vincenzo says, Steve, I love the pictures posted every day, sometimes pictures I've never seen. Yes, that's correct. We do an Elvis picture of the day on Discord. We have a thread as well. And it's getting increasingly hard for me to pick Elvis picture of the day. And then I give the person who wins that day a point, and then they go into a league table. And at the moment, there's 2 or 3 people who have got, there's 2 or 3 people who've got 2 points each. So it's neck and neck at the moment. But what I thought was, from next month, I might turn it over to you, and the picture you like the most, not yours, obviously. You can't vote for your own picture. That would just be silly. But if you give a heart to the picture you like the most of the day, and then whoever gets the most hearts is the winner that day, because I'm finding it so difficult to pick an Elvis picture of the day. I really am. So, that's what I might do. I might turn it over to you. Give your favorite picture of the day a heart, and then the one with the most hearts is picture of the day. Right, return to sender, and I believe it was Norset 45, which means Norset.
For a long time, Jack, I'm telling you.
And I actually did a compilation of phone calls last week, and I got all the phone calls about the Oscars that we did, the live show that we did last Sunday, Oscars on what could have been, and I put them all together, because they were such great phone calls, and I did a YouTube video, and I posted it yesterday afternoon, I think. So if you go to the videos, not live, but if you go to videos, it's there. And Norset's on there, and Brent, and Marco, and Dylan. Yeah. Right. The final one. Stand by your beds, or should I say stand by your keyboards. That's return to sender. What is Elvis singing here? Easy peasy. Margaret says she saw the video and it was good. Thank you. There's the voice of college football. I haven't seen the voice of college football for a while. Oh, so many people getting this one. A little less conversation. Yeah. A little less conversation. And everybody is saying Timothy Lee. So I am going to go with Timothy Lee. And it is a little less conversation, just for anybody saying I don't give out the answers. Maybe I don't, but I try and remember to give out the answers. And hi, Paul. This Paul Gansky. Jack is saying, way to go, Timothy. Yeah, well done. I see Streamlabs is back in the building as well. Right. Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time, Jack, I'm telling you.
Well done. Thanks to everybody that took part in the quiz. It's all for fun, but there is a little prize at the end. And I've still to announce at the end of the show who was the winner of the November Fan of the Month, providing I remember. Because sometimes the last thing I forget to do, and normally the last thing is the smoking hot picture, but easy. Every time I say smoking hot, it sets people off. It sets them off doing that. Give a shout out to Mel, who is very poorly at the moment with COVID. Hi, Mel. I hope you get better soon. I really do. I think that's Kelly's mother. Yeah. Mel, get well soon. Right. We don't want to hear of anybody getting that awful COVID. Right. Vernon Presley was in Live a Little, Love a Little as well. Yes, he was. A cameo. Now, I'll take that off the screen because I want to do the what we call the topic every month. You can get into the queue, the Discord queue, if you want to speak to me about this topic. And it is, of course, this, which is your favorite Elvis cowboy role? I don't know what sort of made me think about this. It just popped into my head. I think one of the pictures of the day was from Flaming Star, and Elvis was obviously wearing the Stetson. Then I got to look into another one, and it was Charo, and I thought, I wonder what is the fans' favorite cowboy role, film, movie. And of course I had a bit of a problem because in the poll it only allows you 4 options, and really there are 5 ones that could be classed as cowboy films, cowboy movies. Love Me Tender, Clint Reno. Elvis's film debut was as a supporting star in this romantic drama. Ranked number 8 out of the 31 by website Gold Radio UK. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what these 5 movies ranked, and Love Me Tender was number 8. So Love Me Tender wasn't too bad, was it? And we've got a wee shot here. There you are. Elvis looked pretty good in that as well, didn't he? Ladies. The voice of college football. Yes, I'm coming up to that. Don't worry. Here we go. Flaming Star. There you are. Elvis plays Pacer Burton, the son of a Kiowa mother and a Texan father, working as a rancher. His family, including a half-brother, Clint, live a typical life on the Texan frontier. Life becomes anything but typical, though, when a nearby tribe of Kiowa begin raiding neighboring homesteads. Pacer soon finds himself caught between the two worlds, part of both but belonging to neither. It was just the kind of dramatic role that Elvis was searching for, and he had a great partnership on screen with Steve Forrest as his brother. And what do you think? What do you think it was rated out of the 31? Well, believe it or not, it was 2 places higher than Love Me Tender. It was number 6 out of the 31 from this website, Gold Radio UK. Of course, this is all subjective. I had to pick one website, and that's the one I picked. Now, yes, Tickle Me. Lonnie Beale, Panhandle Kid. Lonnie Beale, an out-of-work rodeo star with a heart of gold, is trying to make ends meet until the season starts up again. He comes to the fictional western town of Zuni Wells because a friend said that Lonnie could get a job on the ranch, but the friend cannot be found. What do you think? Out of 31. It ranked very low, unfortunately. Tickle Me, number 28. Yes. Okay. Not my thought on Tickle Me, but Helene says, is Tickle Me any good? Do you recommend it, guys? I do. I recommend it. In fact, I would recommend just about every Elvis movie out of the 31. It just depends what you're looking for and what sort of mood you're in on that particular day. If you want a good laugh and a little lightheartedness, then Tickle Me or Double Trouble, something like that. If you're looking for a more dramatic role, then obviously Flaming Star, King Creole. But yes, Tickle Me is okay. And of course, it has the beautiful Jocelyn Lane in it. So that's enough for me. Let's move on to the next one before I get carried away with Jocelyn Lane. Stay Away Joe. Oh, did I show Tickle Me? I didn't. There you are. There's Tickle Me. Elvis and Tickle Me. Number 28. Right. Stay Away Joe. Native American rodeo rider Joe Lightcloud, Elvis, is a Navajo whose family still lives on the reservation. He returns to the reservation in a white Cadillac convertible that he uses to drive cattle. Joe persuades his congressman to give him 20 heifers and a prize bull so that he and his father can prove that the Navajos can successfully raise cattle on the reservation. And what number do you think that Stay Away Joe was ranked out of the 31 movies? Okay, so Helen Murray says 28 for Tickle Me. I'm gobsmacked. Should be way higher. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have a wee guess, a very quick poll in the comments. Dylan says maybe 21. Doreen says 31. What else is people saying? The Voice of College Football says 29. 28. Well, Tickle Me was 28. 30. Right. Jack says 27. Ruth says 20. I'm going to tell you, believe it or not, that this website ranked it bottom. 31 out of 31. Terrible. How could they do that to Stay Away Joe? And last but not least, of course, we have the wonderful Charo, Jess Wade. Yes, Elvis in a beard. Who could want more than Elvis in a beard? I'm going to have a little sip of coffee. And I'm going to say that the role of Jess Wade was originally offered to Clint Eastwood, who turned it down. Great to see Elvis going darker than usual and allowed to act without singing for once. If only he was given more of these opportunities. And we know that it can't be ranked 31. We know that it can't be ranked number 8. And we know it can't be ranked number 6, 28. So what number does everybody think that Charo was ranked out of 31? The Voice of College Football says 22. No. Number one. No, believe it or not, number 1 I think was Viva Las Vegas. Yeah. Well, we're going to give Margaret a round of applause. Well, we're going to give her a drum roll and then a round of applause. Because believe it or not, Margaret said 17 and that is what Charo. So there you go, Margaret. That's your round of applause. Number 17. It was ranked 17 out of 31. So that leads me quite, tidily to the poll. Because I am now going to ask you to vote. Where is it? Which is your favorite Elvis cowboy role? Love Me Tender, Flaming Star, Stay Away Joe, or Charo? And as always, unfortunately, I can't give you a fifth option because the poll only allows 4 options. So Lonnie Beale, Panhandle Kid, has had to be nudged aside, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But if you're watching this on playback, you can leave Tickle Me in the comments if you want as a vote. So you can now get into the queue to tell me which is your favorite out of Love Me Tender, Flaming Star, Stay Away Joe, Charo, or Lonnie Beale, Tickle Me, Panhandle Kid. But don't just say which one it is. I want you to tell me why it's your favorite. Why Love Me Tender? Why Flaming Star? You get the idea. Okay. So I do have a couple of people in the queue, so I will go to them and I will I'll ask them that question, and I will. What do I have to do? Oh, I have to put myself in there. Hello there, Dylan. Dylan has muted himself by the looks of it. Okay. Hey,
hello
there you are.
Steve.
Yes, there you are. You'd muted yourself. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know why I did that.
It doesn't matter as long as we can hear you now.
Yeah, you can hear me now.
Yeah, as crystal clear.
That's good.
So,
yeah,
which one?
Charo.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought that. I really wouldn't have thought that. I'd have thought you were a Flaming Star man or something like that.
No, Charo.
Why?
Why?
Why? Yeah, tell me why. Yeah.
You believe him in the role.
Right.
He blends in well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because in all the others, Elvis is like the standout person. Whereas in Charo, he kind of blended in with everybody else.
Yeah.
Which is what I think they wanted. Like, they didn't want him to kind of stand out. They wanted him to be part of the gang.
And did you mind that he didn't sing? I mean, would he have lost credibility if he'd have sung during a movie? I mean, he only sings over the opening credits. He was supposed to sing Let's Forget About the Stars as well, wasn't he? But they pulled it.
Yeah. I do think that it wouldn't have took anything away from it. But I do think it's good that he did sing at least once.
Yeah. Right.
And I was thinking,
actually, Charo isn't a bad song either. It's quite dramatic. It's got that sort of Morricone sort of feel to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's very dramatic, like you say.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about what Michael said last week.
What did he say?
About how, like, he could have like done a role of his like a few more times, right? And I was thinking about this. Vince Everett is the perfect candidate for that, and I'll tell you for why. In the first one, we see him like coming out of prison and like getting over that, right? If he'd done Vince in like 3 or 4 films, we could have really seen the development of his character.
Good idea. So you're saying a series of movies like the Indiana Jones movies or something like that, the Star Wars movies, a whole sort of series of different movies, but based around the character of Vince Everett.
Yeah, because I think in the second one they could have shown like, is it Peggy? Does Judy Tyler's character? I can't remember.
Yes,
her name.
That's her name, Peggy. Yes, yeah.
So no, it's weird because I'm weird like this. I planned this out in my whole head for no reason. So the way it goes for me is opening credits, Peggy's funeral, because obviously Judy passed.
Yes, unfortunately.
Like looked after the. Yeah, so like they show like the funeral, and then they show Vince like grieving, and that could really be a chance for Elvis to do emotional things because we never really seen him do emotional.
Yeah, and I wonder where his character would have gone. Would he have sort of made it big or bigger in the music business? Do you think?
Yeah, well, I think with Peggy dying, it would have given him an extra motive to like carry on.
Yeah.
And I think he would have really made it big.
And I wonder would they have developed the Mickey? What was his name? The fellow that was in prison with him, Slorsnesy. Is that how you say his name?
I think so.
Yeah, and also there was another. No, that was the only real character, wasn't there? Him.
Yeah.
Those were the two characters because obviously Judy died, so there wouldn't have been that third character. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's and maybe they would have brought another character in. Maybe they would have brought another manager in. What do you think? A little bit like Tom Parker, maybe that would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To replace Judy Tyler.
Mm.
Yeah, great idea. Great idea. Okay, so you're going to vote for Charo, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. Always good to hear from you.
you.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. So, we have another caller on the line, and I will just say hello, hello, Chris. Hello, Chris. Can you hear me?
Hi, Steve.
Hello, young lady. How are you?
Hi. Not too bad. How are you?
This is quite seldom. I think you've called in before, though, haven't you?
I know. A couple of times.
Yeah.
I get really nervous, but
There's nothing to be nervous about because you're amongst friends.
I know. But I just think sometimes my tongue gets tied a little bit.
Yeah, mine does as well.
I don't know, yeah.
So what do you think then about Cowboy Elvis?
Oh, Steve, man. When I saw the thing, the topic, I thought, oh, God, this is going to be hard. And I didn't really factor in Tickle Me until you just did. I was like, oh, God. But you want one, don't you?
Yeah, oh yeah, I do want one. Yeah, you can't say all of them.
No, unfortunately. But I've gone for Flaming Star.
Right, and why Flaming Star? This is what I want to know. It's not just picking the Flaming Star, but why out of the above the other five? Oh, sorry, the other four. Yeah. I mean, why that one?
Because of the story itself.
Okay.
And Pacer and his mum being with white people, so it's like a mixed race issue. And I thought that was a really good story. And obviously Elvis looked fab, but he acted fab as well.
Yes, he certainly did. Particularly that end part, the speech he makes at the end before he rides off into the sunset.
Oh, he rides off. I know. Tears every time. Honestly.
Yeah.
I actually last year bought it on Blu-ray, Flaming Star.
Right.
On Blu-ray, it just looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So. And also, it was a favourite of mine when I was a child as well, watching with my mum. We loved sitting watching Elvis movies when my dad was out.
I think that ending where he doesn't actually die, he rides off and leaves it sort of inconclusive, is simply because of the reaction that they had when he died in Love Me Tender. They had to sort of... they had to put an extra little bit on the end of Love Me Tender, didn't they, where he's singing as the funeral is going on. Yeah.
And it was the same in Flaming Star, because he obviously, the Indian tradition of them, like his mum, when you see the Flaming Star, you're dying, aren't you? So,
exactly.
So it's quite a very emotional film.
Yeah, but they didn't they weren't going to actually show him dying like they did in Love Me Tender because so they sort of left it open ended. Maybe he didn't die. Maybe he didn't. You never know.
Oh, he might. He might have just not died. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just gives you that impression, though.
So anyway, so you're voting for Flaming Star. So far we've got one vote for Flaming Star and one vote for Charo. Okay, that's great.
No problem, Steve.
Thanks a lot, Chris. And thanks for modding for me. Cheers. Bye.
Oh, no problem, Steve. Anytime.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that was young Chris there. Okay, so let's move on. We have another caller here. We'll just disconnect that person because it might make a little bit of noise. And I will go and I will say... That's it. Hello, Duncan. Hello, Duncan.
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
What do you think on this? Is this a good topic or what?
It's a really good one. Really good one. I think
it makes you think.
Elvis Elvis was particularly good and particularly natural in cowboy roles.
Yeah, I think he suited them.
Which makes it a harder question. I would probably go with Flaming Star. That's what I voted in the poll for.
Okay.
I think it's a combination of things. I think his acting ability in Charo, the ability was still there the way it was in Flaming Star. I think the difference with Flaming Star was how it was its direction and the cinematography of it made such a difference, as well as the likes of Steve Forrest, etc. If you take the script, for example, the script of a Charo was very much trimmed back.
It was. I was going to say that. Yeah, it was completely altered after he'd signed. He signed up for it, and then they altered it. He wasn't best pleased.
Yes. No, he wasn't. Absolutely not. And the role, the anti-hero role, was diluted considerably from what it originally was. If you think of westerns at the time of Charo, that anti-hero role would have given Elvis huge possibilities.
Yes.
But again, it was shortchanging Elvis in a sense, giving him material that was not on a par with his ability.
Now, you carry on, please.
So it wasn't giving him scripts and films that were on a par with his ability. It was putting them into a box of what they felt an Elvis movie should be like. Almost Elvisifying Charo.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
I appreciate that there was no singing during it. I think that was the right choice. But I think that Flaming Star had a very strong script. Don Siegel, an amazing director, as we know, who went on to direct countless Clint Eastwood movies.
That's right.
And when you look at Charo, it almost feels, in a sense, claustrophobic in places. It feels small. And if you look at the director who directed Charo, his background was directing TV shows and the odd TV movie. So that's going to be a smaller scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was possibilities for Charo to become like a dollar western, a spaghetti western, had it not been diluted so far and had they given it to a director of the magnitude of Don Siegel. Whereas Don Siegel was able to explore in Flaming Star with Elvis the friction between the two sides of where he came from.
And who do we blame for diluting it down?
For diluting Charo down?
Yeah.
I know it sounds as if it's who I always go to. I think Colonel Parker.
Yeah, it had to be. I think it had to be.
I think, as I said last week, I think he was afraid of Elvis growing his wings and flying in that sense. I don't think he knew the movie business the way he knew the music business. And I would argue by the time we were getting towards the tail end of the 60s, I don't know how well he even knew the music business.
Yeah. I mean, by the time Charo came around anyway, the movies were just about completed anyway. They were just finishing up the contracts, I believe, anyway.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Again, had Elvis been given quality scripts, he would not have been. But I mean, when you look at the ability Elvis had and the scripts he was being given, now it's a testament to him that he lifted those scripts beyond what they would otherwise have been.
Oh, yes.
But you can see why he would be bored artistically from that by the time we got to the late 60s.
Yeah. Well, as always, Duncan, a great phone call, and thanks again for calling in. Great.
Lovely to speak to you, Steve.
All right. Cheers, Duncan.
Cheers, bye.
All the best. Bye-bye. Yeah, always a great call from Duncan. Well, all calls are great. So let's move on. And we have this fellow here. Let's have a look. Hello, Vincenzo.
Hi, Steve.
Well, what do you think?
How you doing?
All right, not too bad. So, which is your favorite cowboy role and why?
Flaming Star.
Flaming Star. Another one for Flaming Star. Okay, why?
Because I like this. I like the way he acted in the movie.
Do you think he acted well in, say, Charo though, or Stay Away Joe, or what about his acting debut, Love Me Tender?
No, he was going to Love Me Tender too, and Chow he was good too. But not as good as Flaming Star.
Yeah. So that what you're saying is they were all good, but if you had to pick one, Flaming Star.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you watch it on a regular basis, I take it.
Yeah. I have it on DVD.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay.
Okay, nice talking to you, Steve.
Cheers, Vincenzo.
Bye.
All the best. That was Vincenzo giving me his opinion on the poll, and we go to the next caller, and that caller is okay. I am trying actually to talk to Jonathan, but he does actually have his microphone. Hi. There's Jonathan. You did have your microphone on mute there for a second. Hi, Jonathan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What would you like to?
Awesome topic, Steve.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I rack my brain most weeks trying to think of what would be a good topic for us all to discuss, and I thought, well, let's discuss the cowboy roles. Which would you have picked out of those four?
Well, I love Flaming Star.
I think Flaming Star is going to win tonight. I really do.
I think so too. Flaming Star is one. First of all, it's my favorite Elvis movie, number one. And I just love number one. I always watch Flaming Star every week or every 2 weeks. You know.
Is it his performance? Is it performance? Is it the co-stars, or it's not the music? Because I don't believe for a minute people went to watch Flaming Star for the music.
Well, I don't think so either. I think at the time, some people were not upset, but disappointed there was no music. And then they didn't give it much credit. That I think at the time, Colonel said, "Well, you see Elvis. Nobody wants to go see a dramatic film. They want to go see you sing." But now, looking at it again, or watching it again, you know, they love Elvis's performance there. I thought he was amazing in Flaming Star. I loved him in Flaming Star. We had that one song, and I think there was like 2 or 3 songs cut out.
There was Britches was cut out, and Summer Kisses, Winter Tears as well was cut out. So
they were cut out, which they're great songs. I love those songs. They're great songs, and I sometimes wonder how it'll look in the scene. But other than that, you know, the dramatic role was amazing. I loved it. I love, you know, he's from Texas in the movie. He's from Texas. I'm from Texas, so
yeah.
That adds another point to it. But you know, Elvis Presley as, you know, half of Native American also, you know, it just, you know, fit well.
I mean, there's no doubt his acting prowess was brilliant in Flaming Star, as it was in Jailhouse Rock and King Creole, and you know, a host of other movies as well. It's just everybody seems to pick on the beach movies and the harem scarems and the likes and things like that. Nobody remembers these, you know, these performances for some reason. I don't know why. They always seem to pick on the weaker performances, the beach movies and things like that.
Well, I guess it's because you know, it's beach movies and Elvis is, you know, making a fool, not a fool at himself, but, you know, doing silly things and whatnot. Which, you know, I love those movies too. Don't get me wrong, I love them. I enjoy watching them too. But I guess some of the fans love to watch Elvis, you know, having a good time. You know.
Well, I said earlier on, somebody said, would you recommend Tickle Me? And I said, yes, I would recommend Tickle Me, simply because it depends what sort of mood you're in. You know, if you're in a mood just for a little bit of lighthearted comedy or something like that, then you're going to watch Tickle Me. You're going to watch Double Trouble. Exactly. However, if you want to see a good acting performance, you're going to watch Flaming Star, Charo. You're going to watch King Creole, Jailhouse Rock.
Exactly.
You know, so
those are great movies. Yeah, there's, you know, serious dramatic role. While in the Country is another one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, there's not one of the 31 movies that I wouldn't watch. And people would say, really? But there isn't one. It just depends on your mood.
Yeah, it really depends on your mood. You know, there's times I want to see Harem Scarum or Change of Habit. You know, it just really, like you said, it really depends on your mood.
Yeah. Well, he looked so fantastic in Change of Habit. That's why I watch it. I wonder. I sit there wondering how somebody can look that good You know,
Right? I don't understand it myself either. Like, I try to look like Elvis, but I would never compare myself to him. Never.
I know. We can
But
all
you know,
wish. Yeah, we can all wish.
yes, we could all wish. Even in his later years, he still looked amazing on stage. He did his
Well, I often,
greatest for the
I
fans.
always say, you know, even on his worst day, he still looked better than most of us. So let's leave,
Yes.
you know, let's leave the fella alone. You know.
Yes, yes, exactly. He's
Right.
just the greatest. You can tell he was like a little upset doing his movies, but he put a lot of work into it for the fans.
Yeah, and he always remained
I'm gonna give him my
professional.
best.
Yeah, he always remained
Yes.
professional. Yeah. Okay, Jonathan,
Yeah.
lovely to speak to you. Is this the first time I've spoken to you on the show? I can't remember. Is it?
I've called on Messenger like 2 times
Yeah, I
because I
couldn't
work on
remember.
Sundays, but I took off today and I decided, I'm gonna call in. This is the first time calling on Discord actually.
Yeah, it's handy. It's handy, and the call quality is really, really good as well. It just
It really is.
it can be a little glitchy sometimes, but most of the time it behaves. As I say,
Yeah, I
great,
mean,
great to hear from you.
yes, nice to hear from you too.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. Bye bye.
Like,
That was Jonathan Ortega. Now, shall we move on? Yes, we can actually move on to another caller. Great callers tonight, and top of the list is Karen Armstrong. Hi, Karen. I think she can hear me. Well, I'm hoping she can hear me. Hello, Karen.
Hi, Steve. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. How are you today?
I can hear you.
Yes,
Can you hear me, Steve?
I can hear you loud and clear. Are you still
I'm
with it?
actually doing really well. How about yourself?
Yes, perfect. Now, these movies, which one and why?
There seems to be a delay.
Oh, right. Okay. Are you turning off your audio on YouTube? And listen to me down the phone? I'll tell you what I'll do, Karen. I will actually come back to you if that's okay, if you're having difficulty hearing me. And we will go on to, we will say, hello, Norset.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Twice in a week now. We spoke to you last week as well, didn't we?
Well, this is a great topic.
I try.
Every week's a great topic, really.
Yeah, hopefully.
So,
So,
of course, I'm going with Flaming Star.
oh, right. I think Flaming Star's going to win.
Well, he's like half dressed throughout most of the movie. So all the women, probably more or less going to be favoring that. No, I'm kidding. No, I think, script wise, it was very well balanced in both the point of view from, the white family and the Native American family.
Okay.
It really was a great script if you really want to look at it, in that it handled racism, which was kind of before its time. You don't expect that in an Elvis, movie, much less a Western.
Mm-hmm.
I liked a lot of the action sequences too. We know he did a lot of his stunts, so that was really great.
He handled himself very, very well. The acting was really good. He looked good. He looked fit, didn't he?
Great.
He had a great supporting cast. Steve Forrest, Barbara Eden.
Yeah. He did.
So yeah, 20th Century Fox, I think, wasn't it? So they had plenty of. It was quite a big budget as well, I believe.
Right, and
it didn't do that well at the box office in the end, did it?
Well, it was coming off the heels of GI Blues.
Mm.
So he had that to kind of tackle, because that was a great movie. And then he had Wild in the Country, and he was sunk once they did Blue Hawaii. That was
Well, I always say that Blue Hawaii sealed his fate as far as the movies were concerned.
Oh, definitely. And it's too bad, because he did such a really great job in this movie, but it was sort of overlooked. And it wasn't something, I don't think, that, his teenage fans, because he was still young, it was 1960, he was just coming out of the Army, they wanted the GI Blues. They wanted that type of an Elvis, and they didn't quite get him in what they wanted, which is kind of too bad, because this could have been a great vehicle to launch his more serious career.
Yeah, I mean, it was the format, wasn't it? It was the 13 songs, nice and colourful, well shot, and all this and all that. That's what they wanted, unfortunately.
The song in this was good, and it's what they did back in the day. It's not like they had television, Wild West.
Yeah.
So when they had parties, there was always a musical instrument, so that it fit. It fit well enough. But other than that, I don't know that people would have been more looking forward to more types of movies like that from him. And it's kind of too bad, I mean, King Creole was incredible, but he had been gone to the army. And then he comes back with GI Blues, and they throw this, and then Wild in the Country, and then you get Blue Hawaii, and that's it. It's over.
Yeah, and of course, Blue Hawaii had him coming out of the army. Kid Galahad had him coming out of the army. There was a theme there, wasn't there? They wanted to see Elvis coming out of the army.
Yeah, they were milking that.
yeah. All right, no set. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Bye.
All the best. Bye. Quite correct. So let's go on to this is one here, somebody I haven't actually seen before, and it's Voice of CFB. Hi, Voice of CSB. Are you there?
Hi, Steve.
Hi, who's that?
Yeah, this is Voice of College Football. This is Mark.
I put it all together now. Voice of College Football. That's what it is, CFB.
You have an amazing channel.
Thank you.
Entertained me for a long time. So
it's like this. I think that it's the fans that are amazing. I just sit here and blather away for an hour. So anyway, what do you think about these movies?
Well, I'm in my 50s, so I've seen Elvis movies since I was like 8 years old. So I've watched these movies dozens, if not hundreds of times, probably like you. I probably know Flaming Star the least. I'm guessing I've only seen it maybe 3 or 4 times, and it's been a long time. But I think from what I've heard from critics and also my memory of it, that it's probably the best of the Cowboy movies. But I'm going to stick up for Love Me Tender.
Oh, right.
I'm going to go from a historical standpoint, Steve, that if you take any of those other movies out of his catalog, I think to the average person, there's not a whole lot lost in his movie career, but Love Me Tender obviously set the stage for everything else, much like everything he did in 1956 set the stage for his legendary status for his entire career and popularity. So I also really admire that he showed up at the set with the entire script, everyone's parts memorized, that he was that enthusiastic and took it that seriously.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, very admirable, actually, very admirable. And so you're actually voting for Love Me Tender, yes?
I voted for Love Me Tender.
Okay, all right. That's
there is also something that just hits me emotionally, just knowing that's the first time he's been on screen. That's before he really knew who he was and what his place was, and he's still kind of finding himself. And I admire his willingness to take that on, and I think that's a huge challenge at the age of 21. And everything that was thrown at him his first year of show business, like he says on the High Gardner call, everything's happened to me so fast, I'm all mixed up. That if you really take into consideration everything that he did in 1956, the accomplishments are just, of course, amazing. Like 7 consecutive #1 hits and all of that. But just to kind of put yourself in his place with all the controversy and all the criticism of him, that he took all that on as a 21-year-old I really admire him for that.
It's interesting that in interviews prior to him doing Love Me Tender, he said he didn't want to sing in the movies because he says, I don't think you can sing and be taken seriously. And then when he realized that they were slipping these numbers in, he actually, on the telephone to June Juanico, he said he was disappointed that they'd asked him to sing. Mm-hmm. So we get a flavor. We get a flavor of how he was feeling about that movie.
It's just crazy that he was so talented, so charismatic, so charming, is that it worked against him.
Yes.
and that they could just throw him in anything. And like you have been saying for the last few minutes, I love watching any Elvis movie. Sure, I have my favorites, and sure, I look at some of them and I know that they're kind of tongue in cheek, kind of not serious movies, but I enjoy all of them because it's Elvis and because he's just such a charismatic, endearing person that I enjoy all of them. But he wanted to do, and he did do some credible movies. And like you said a few minutes ago, it's a shame that most people that aren't Elvis fans don't recognize. They can't separate the quality of the movies with the quality of his acting.
Yeah.
Just to consider that he was surrounded by actors who that was their craft. That's what they did all the time. And the only acting he did in these movies, and because who he was, and because they were made for him, and the only reason we watch them is because of him, he had to be in them like 90% of the time.
That's right.
After Love Me Tender, he's basically in all these movies almost all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot to put on someone. And for him to act as well as he did with the lack of experience, again, just points to his amazing talent.
It's hard to take your eyes off Elvis when he's on the screen, isn't it? He's got just that magnetic sort of, your eyes follow him around the screen.
Yeah, there's a interview I saw with Walter Matthau about King Creole, and I believe it's Michael Curtiz who directed it.
Correct.
The famous director. And at one point, Walter Matthau, I forget which scene it was, but Michael Curtiz said, "You're overacting. You're really not playing the role correctly. You're overacting." He said, "Check out the kid here. He's not trying to act. He's not trying to play a role. He's understanding who this person is." And Walter Matthau was basically saying he was kind of showing me up that this inexperienced kid can outact you because he's just a natural and he's just understanding who the individual is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. But like I say, you're right what you say. People just clump all of Elvis movies all together. All 31 of them were just beach movies and that was it. They don't realize that he did all these different types of movies. It's just a shame. It's just a shame that everybody seems to identify and say it's beach movies and that was Elvis. So, Voice of College Football, thank you very, very much for calling in. I'm glad. It's nice to speak to you
Steve.
already. Thanks.
Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, the voice of college football. I like that. I like that very much. Okay, so, yes, we have the young lady herself. Hello,
Steve,
Priscilla. Hello, Priscilla.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well. You sound like you're in your bathroom tonight. There's a bit of an echo.
I'm not. I'm actually in a hallway in the apartment complex I'm staying in.
Oh, right. You're staying away, are you?
Yes, I'm in London for the exhibition.
Are you? Have you been or are you going?
No, 2 more sleeps.
2 more. You sound like you wait for Santa to come.
Well, it is. It's my Christmas, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I actually, you know what? I don't even think I'll manage the 2 more sleeps.
So you've got to send us plenty of photographs.
Well, now, do you know what? The intention is I'm going to make up for all the things I didn't do. I was in Graceland. And that is burst my camera.
Oh, and listen, are you going to do the VIP? Are you going to get to hold something that belonged to Elvis?
No, Steve. I've taken the advice of people much wiser than me, yourself included, and didn't go that way. I had that opportunity in Graceland, and I don't think after what I told, it could be tapped by that.
Yeah.
And also for reasons that I might have mentioned in the past. I have photos of me holding one of Elvis's everyday belts. And there isn't one picture that I could show to somebody because I'm ugly crying in all of them. Because I was so in awe of the opportunity that I started crying and couldn't stop. So.
Well, at least you enjoyed yourself.
All right. Sure, you've listened to it much too often. I don't want to go on. But yes, and I'm so looking forward to it.
Good.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, well, you'll have to come on and tell us all about it. But in the meantime, what about these movies, young lady?
Okay, so hands down, all of them are fantastic.
Yeah.
I love Flaming Star. The whole nothing on the top half of him is very appealing. I love Me Tender. It's shifted things culturally, really, when you think about it. But all day long, it's Charo for reasons I can't actually quantify.
Oh, you're voting for Charo.
Charo all day long.
Okay.
Now I know there's been lots of things said about, and yes, there was lots of very, I don't know, questionable dialogue. The one that comes to mind is My Name is Wade, Jeff Wade.
James Bond.
See, there's lots of questionable dialogue, but I think that it was the first cowboy film I actually saw Elvis in.
Oh.
Because remember, I like Voice of College Football and Nasset and others. I was born after Elvis, 5 years before he passed, and after all of these movies were released. So we caught up with them on regular television, or they were still being broadcast on terrestrial television. And Jara was the first cowboy, and I went, oh my God, oh holy mother of God, he's brilliant. I also think that doing a little bit more research into it in years that followed, I think he played it like a Clint movie. I think he knew Clint had been offered that role, and that's how he decided he was going to play it. And I think he did great acting. It's easy to act words. It's easy to act a script. But he had 110% presence, in my opinion, without ever saying anything in that movie.
And I think the beard was a good finishing touch because I mean, as you say, he did look rough and ready. I think if he'd have suddenly started bursting into song, it would have just taken the whole thing to just another level. It wouldn't have been believable.
You know, that my recollection of watching that movie and him not singing didn't join the dots.
Yeah,
I watched that movie and I never missed him singing.
Yeah, exactly.
At the time, I just thought, oh, this is just a great movie. I mean, oh my God, like I can't describe. It opened my eyes to another Elvis. Now, we all know he's a multifaceted, multi-talented human being. And I think he proves that in this movie. Now, yes, was the movie a bit questionable? Was a lot of them that way. I mean, all those beach movies we referred to earlier, they were formulaic. And yes, do I think the Lion Dutchman had a big say in messing with this one because of his fear of losing his golden goose?
He did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do I still think that Elvis played that role tremendously? 110%. 110%. And I think that if to be able to hold that presence and hold that character when there wasn't the dialogue that there should have been, then I think that's a testament to his acting ability.
Can I ask you, did you notice Charlie Hodge at the start of the movie?
Do you know what? If I did at the time, I didn't know it, but I did read something sometime later, and I did specifically go looking for him.
Yeah, he's near the start. He's near the start when Elvis arrives in town. Yeah.
But
there you go.
Again, I think that we could talk all night long about this. Flaming Star, all of them were brilliant.
Yeah.
But for me, as a child watching it, it had a huge impact on me. And so all day long, I would always shout Charo. And the fact that he doesn't sing after the title credits.
Yeah.
And come here till I tell you, have you ever seen acting like that brooding stare?
Like what?
Holy God!
What with the
that brooding? You know that stare. He gives that.
You're going to have a cold. You're going to have a cold shower now. That's what you're going to have.
Well, the women will all know what I'm saying when I say this. We always fall for the bad guy.
Right. Well, you young lady, you make sure that you enjoy this exhibition in, what is it, 2 days' time? Did you say?
2 more sleeps.
And then
you so I can make it only one.
Yeah, and then you come back and you tell us all about it, and you show us some photographs as well. Okay.
Oh, most certainly. Most
All right.
certainly. Absolutely.
All right, Priscilla.
Thanks very much.
Thanks a
Steve.
lot.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
And happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah,
Oh, yes.
happy holidays
Yes.
to everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yes, Priscilla is off to the exhibition at the Arches in London, the one that I went to at the start of November. And you can tell she's really, really excited about it. So those were great calls. It's unfortunate that one of them we couldn't quite hear properly. There was a delay on the line. But apart from that, great calls. And I'm interested to see how that poll turns out. For now, we will move on and we will do this day in Elvis history. And I got particularly one photograph. I'm a little bit dubious whether I should show you or not, but I probably will end up showing you near the end. And 1955, Elvis performed at the Louisiana Hayride Municipal Auditorium in Shreveport. The crowd didn't want him to leave the stage. Elvis performed Baby Let's Play House, 16 Tons, Only You, I Got a Woman, Tutti Frutti, and That's All Right. Now, I'm surprised at that. Did he really perform 16 Tons and Only You? Or is that a typo? I'm wondering. Yeah. 1958, I've got a picture. And it says military service in Germany. Elvis was told by the colonel that his new single, One Night, had already sold 1,250,000 copies. Isn't that something special? 1960, we had Wild in the Country. And I Gotta Know, the B-side to Are You Lonesome Tonight, hit number 20 in the US. And obviously there's Wild in the Country with Hope Lang. And then we've got Kid Galahad production. Now here's a big day in Elvis history. In 1963, more than 150 people jammed into the mayor's office to see Elvis hand out Christmas checks totaling $55,000. Now, the checks benefited 58 Memphis and Mid-South charities. The equivalent today would be $553,000, well over $500,000. In appreciation, the organizations presented Elvis with a 6-foot plaque. It was warm in the room, and when Commissioner Claude Armour announced Elvis was going to pass out the checks, the singer wiped his brow and said, "Elvis is going to pass out, period." Now, isn't that some plaque? Isn't that some plaque? Amazing. Okay. And then we go to 1960. Why did I put that piece of paper down on the floor when I hadn't finished with it? I think I've gone. 1966. The soundtrack album Spin Out, released by RCA in mono and stereo, peaked at number 18 in the US. 9 songs were recorded for the soundtrack, all of which appeared in the movie. Most of the songs derived from the standard pool of songwriters. Their publishing rights signed over to Elvis Music and Gladys Music. The company is owned by Elvis and the Colonel. One song, Stop Lookin' Lesson, was previously recorded by Ricky Nelson and Bill Haley and his Comets. The 3 bonus tracks were Tomorrow Is a Long Time by Bob Dylan. Down in the Alley had been released in 1957 by the Clovers, a group had covered on the country circuit in the early 1950s. And I'll Remember You had been recorded by Don Ho. In 2004, Spin Out was reissued by the Follow That Dream label in a special edition that contained the album tracks along with numerous alternative takes. The movie was one of 3 co-starring Shelley Fabares. Yes. Now, 1968, The Trouble with Girls. 1970, Elvis flew to Memphis, where he would stay most of the time until January the 9th, 1971. And then we have 1976, This is the picture I wasn't sure I should show you. The third movie version of A Star is Born, starring Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson, opened in the US and Canadian movie theatres. It was the first Dolby surround sound movie and the last major movie to be turned down by Elvis. And this is the pic. Somebody has gone to the trouble of doing this. Replacing Chris Christopherson's head with Elvis from the 1969 press conference. And that's what it would have looked like if he'd have accepted the movie, or if he'd been allowed to accept the movie. But I was kind of sitting on the fence whether I should show you that or not, but there you are. I've showed it now anyway. And speaking of Photoshops, we are moving on to this week's Photoshop, and it shows this. Okay. Elvis and Katie Jurado, she's shown in both pictures actually, played the half Apache stepmother of Elvis in the movie Stay Away Joe. Oh, we're back to Stay Away Joe again, are we? She is pictured left with Marlon Brando. There you go. With whom she had an extended affair that lasted many years and peaked at the time they worked together on One-Eyed Jacks in 1960, a film directed by Brando. So there you are. The original is the one on the left, and the Photoshop is the one on the right with Elvis. Okay. Still to come, Smoking Hot photo, of course. Underrated song, a song I wish Elvis had recorded. And we're going to do that now, actually. But I will remind you that if you can vote on the poll, which is your favorite Elvis cowboy role? Love Me Tender, Flaming Star, Stay Away Joe, or Charo? Okay, I'll leave that open for a little bit longer. But a song I wish Elvis had recorded, suggested by Rena Marino, is a song written by Matt Gordon and Harry Warren for the musical film Sun Valley Serenade, 1941. Glenn Miller and his orchestra recorded the tune several times, with a 1942 version reaching number 2 on the US Billboard Music Chart. In 1960, rhythm and blues singer Etta James recorded an arrangement by Riley Hampton that improvised a Warren original melody. Etta James' rendition was the title track on her debut album in 1960 and was eventually inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999. Most recently, Celine Dion and Beyonce have also had chart successes with the song. So it is the one that Rena Marino wished she had Elvis had recorded is Etta James At Last. And it became Etta James's signature song. And Rena says, such a classic, and I think Elvis would bring the emotion that this song deserves. I will, as always, leave a link below for that. And you can listen to it, and you can decide whether you think Elvis could have recorded it and what sort of a job he would have made of it. If you'd like to be Elvis Fan of the Week, contact the show, elvistheultimatefan@gmail.com. And also, I'd like to hear your ideas as well for things like I wish Elvis had recorded, underrated songs, Photoshop, smoking hot photos, and things like that, funny caption photos. You can even suggest a topic for discussion if you wish, and send it in to me. Now, what have I got here? Oh, yes, and I would also like you, bottom right-hand corner, if you would be so kind, if you haven't already, I'm sure most of you have subscribed by now, but if you haven't, click the subscribe button and turn that bell black, which is all notifications, not just personalized. Okay, I ask people to do that. And this is it. This was the caption. I've seen that suit, and that suit is going to be seen very shortly by Priscilla as well, who was on the phone there a few minutes ago, because that is at the show in the Arches. And these were some, I asked you to leave your caption, and the one that got the most thumbs up was the winner. Oh, I hit my nose on the mic. This gold jacket is blinding me. And if someone tells me I got to wiggle my finger one more time, But the winner, I'll give them a drum roll, is, with 17 likes, Danny B-side. And he's brought me into it, actually. Oh, Steve, leave me alone. So, there you go. And it's a round of applause for Danny. So, I will be posting another caption this photo, probably this coming Tuesday. And I must tell you, actually, that the show will be on Saturday next week. Simply because next Sunday is the 24th, yes, and that's Christmas Eve, and I think we will all be too busy for a show on the 24th. So next week's show is Saturday, all right, if I can just slip that in there at this particular moment. Thanks for all the captions, by the way, for that. There were some really good ones. I couldn't read them all out, of course. Now, underrated Elvis song. Keep voting on that poll if you can, please, because I really do want to know which is your favorite Elvis Cowboy role. Love Me Tender, Flaming Star, Stay Away Joe, or Charo. And I think I know what's going to win, but anyway, we'll see in a few minutes. The underrated song suggested by Kirsty. Thanks for sending this in, Kirsty. The songwriter was Lee Denson, and it was first released on the Elvis Now album. Yes, which is that one there. It was recorded on May the 15th, 1971 at RCA Studio B in Nashville. And it is Miracle of the Rosary. Elvis did, let's see, looking at the documentation, he did only 4 takes. Take 1 was complete. Take 2 was complete, 3 was a false start, and take 4 was complete and was used for the master, and they did the dubbing on it. It was also take 1 is the one that Kirsty wants me to highlight for everybody as the underrated song, and it also appeared on Platinum, the box set Platinum, and the Elvis Back in Nashville box set that appeared a year or 2 ago. So that's it. Miracle of the Rosary, and it was take 1 in particular that Kirsty wanted me to highlight, and I will probably pull out a link for that and post that below as well. Right. Let me see. I think I've done just about everything apart from Smoking Hot and the winner of November Fan of the Month. Will we do the poll, actually? I think we will do the poll, yes. We will do the poll. Where do I find that? I find it here. And I look at it, and yes, no surprise whatsoever. For those of you watching on catch-up, I'll tell you that it is 49% Flaming Star, 28% Charo, and only 15% Love Me Tender. And poor old Stay Away Joe, 6%. No wonder it was voted 31st by that website. So Flaming Star with nearly half the votes. And believe it or not, I would have gone for Flaming Star as well. So no surprise there. And thanks to everybody that voted on the poll. As always, the more people that vote, the more sort of better result, more accurate result we get. Yes, I'm going to do winner of November Fan of the Month before I do the Smoking Hot. I'm going to keep you waiting just a little bit longer for the Smoking Hot. And the Fan of the Month. Well, it was quite interesting, actually, because it was a tie. It was a tie between Jack Mullins, and, yes, Dylan Bowen. And Jack has said, well, I won last month, so I'm going to let Dylan have it. Very gracious. Thanks, Jack, for being so gracious. So, Dylan, you are the winner of the Fan of the Month for November, and there will be a prize winging its way to you. Congratulations. Now, yes, I will say one more time, next week's show is on the 23rd, Saturday the 23rd, and it'll be so close to Christmas that it will be a Christmassy Elvis. Okay, I'll try and make it as Christmassy as possible. I don't know what the subject is going to be yet. In fact, if you want to suggest a subject for next Saturday's show with a Christmas theme, you can. What do you think of that? Right, here we go. Oh, by the way, a round of applause for Dylan for his winning the fan of the month for November. Well done, Dylan. Right, now here we go. I can't put it off any longer. Here is a smoking hot photograph. Yes, from August 1970, the chain suit by the looks of it. And that was one that was posted as photo of the day on Discord. I don't think it won, but I thought, wow, that's definitely a smoking hot photograph. So and Lily Ramos says Lord, so obviously she's looking at that photograph. And Maria says be still my beating heart. Mrs. EAP Elaine says I've fallen down thud. Priscilla says oh well, holy God. Edward says of course gorgeous. On fire, says Helen Murray. Yeah, I mean he just the way he looked in August, and that's the way it is. Wow. I mean, just unbelievable. I don't think I've forgotten everything. Thank you so much to all the callers tonight. You were absolutely fabulous. Thanks to everybody that took part in the quiz and everybody that's commented tonight. Just absolutely brilliant as ever. I'll just take that off so that you can see me one last time. I'm sure you'd rather see that than this. But anyway, don't forget, next week's show is Saturday, all right? And as I say again, thanks very much to Dave and Chris and Maxine for moderating. Thanks to the callers. They were so good, I might make another video and repost them. But until then, what do you say, Al?
Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night.